Some trees do not simply belong to this world, they guard something deeper as secret. On the fringe of fields and forgotten paths grows one such tree, the Blackthorn, cursed by witches, watched over by Moon Fairies, and spoken of in whispers at midnight. They say if you take from it unbidden, the very shadows will reach for you. Tonight, we step into its haunted embrace and ask, what lives behind the thorns? What demands its tribute? The Blackthorn Prunus spinosa is a tree of contradictions. In spring, delicate star-like blossoms appear, soft white against the lingering chill. In autumn, heavy purple-black sloes droop from its branches, their bitterness a warning in themselves. And in the dead of winter, its leafless limbs are armed with thorns as sharp as small knives. This tree colonizes the hedgerows and field borders of Britain, Ireland, and parts of Europe, exactly where humans tread, but rarely linger. It is a liminal tree, standing at the boundary of things, alive but ancient, wild yet craft, peaceful but dangerous. It marks not just land, but legend. In Celtic myth, the Blackthorn is deeply entwined with the Cailleach, the crone goddess of winter and fate. She is said to carry a staff carved from blackthorn, and with it, she governs the cold months, the hardship, the storms. Her presence is not benign. She is remorseless, powerful, and timeless. To the Celtic people, the blackthorn's black bark and its thorns symbolize death and danger. Its red sap whispered of blood, battle, and sacrifice. Yet, in the same breath, its white blossoms told of quiet rebirth, spirit, and fragile hope. This duality, the balance between life and death, light and shadow, makes Blackthorn a living symbol of transformation. Cailleach is not the only power tied to this tree. Folktales speak of the Lunaticide, or Moon Fairies' small, wizened, thorn-eared guardians said to stand watch under the Blackthorn at night, especially during the full moon. The Blackthorn does not simply grow in folklore, it is watched. The Lunaticide, or Moon Fairies, are not gentle spirits. These fairies are thorn-like themselves, with pointed features and eyes that glint in moonlight. They are the guardians of Blackthorn groves, and they demand respect. Legend says that those who violate a blackthorn cutting its branches without ritual, picking its berries carelessly, may awaken the fairies' wrath. Ghost stories share chilling tales of people hearing laughter just beyond the hedgerow, or seeing silver light flicker through branches. In some versions, the fairies themselves appear, small but fierce, punishing trespassers by cursing their livestock, their crops, or even their souls. One of the most persistent stories comes from an elderly woman of rural Ireland. She swore that, as a child, she watched Moon Fairy circle a blackthorn on a Samhain night, leaving tiny footprints in frost on its roots. They vanished when she called out, but her grandmother warned her never to verge too close again. In a darker chapter of Blackthorn's history, witchcraft plays a central role. From early modern Europe to remote Irish countryside, blackthorn wood became a tool of both protection and curse. Witch grimoires, folklore, and trial records all speak of carved blackthorn staves, blasting rods, and white-headed walking sticks used for ritual work. Perhaps the most notorious tale involves Major Thomas Weir of 17th century Edinburgh. A devout soldier turned repentant preacher, Weir famously confessed to practicing witchcraft. When he died, he was said to have carried a blackthorn staff carved with a devilish face. Some claimed it had the power to fly. After his execution, stories spread that his ghost haunted the West Bow, staff in hand, warning the living of the tree's uncanny might. Whether truth or cautionary myth, that tale lingers, like roots beneath the frost. Blackthorn was feared not just for its thorns, but for what it represented: resistance, boundary, and the power to bridge the human and spirit worlds. Among the many tales, one of the most haunting comes from the fields of rural Ireland. A farmer, his fields barren, his livelihood at risk, sleeps beneath a sprawling blackthorn at night. In his dreams, he is visited by soft-voiced fairies who guide his hand, showing him where stolen corn has been hidden. When he wakes, he does as they said and finds the corn, but there is a terrible catch. The grain seems touched by something otherworldly. Animals that eat it sicken, and the man himself begins to feel a weight in his chest, as though he owes the fairies a debt he cannot repay. This is the blackthorn's bargain, generous, but perilous. The gift of recovery comes tied with sacrifice, a reminder that nothing borrowed from the other world is without cost. Numerous traditions warn of nights when cutting blackthorn is forbidden. Samhain, in bulk. Beltane, these are times when the veil is thin, and the Lunaticide are said to patrol the hedgerows fiercely. Folk warnings passed through generations claim that anyone who dares to strike a blackthorn branch at the wrong time may bring calamity upon themselves. One old villager recounted how his friend, intoxicated by drink, chopped a branch on a May Eve. That night, a storm battered his house and freak illness seized his family. He swore he heard tiny voices in the wreckage, whispering of the tree's ancient wrath. Such stories may sound like superstition, but they persist, and for some, they are cautionary tales written in the language of magic, warning us that some boundaries are better left unbroken. In the lore of tree wisdom, the blackthorn is not a mere plant, it is alive in spirit as well as flesh. Druids, herbalists, and folk magicians have long believed that each blackthorn tree holds its own medicine, the power to heal, to ward, to transform. Its sap, wood, berries, and thorns all carry purpose. In a ritual context, blackthorn is seen as both threshold and guardian. It stands at the edge, watching, waiting. To harvest from it without respect, to take without offering, is not just theft, it is a violation of an ancient pact. And in many traditions, the tree remembers. And for those who honor it, who ask and offer, the blackthorn can become a powerful ally, a protector, a guide. But its protection is earned, not given. Today, the blackthorn continues to inhabit both nature and imagination. Conservationists prune hedgerows carefully. Artisans carve canes and ceremonial staffs, and at Midsummer or Samhain, pagans and folklorists still honor its place in ritual. Sloe gin remains a beloved tradition, a bittersweet libation that connects drinkers to ancient hedgerows and old stories. In rural communities, people still speak of blackthorn winter's cold spells that coincide with the tree's blossom. Some insist that planting a blackthorn hedge brings protection, while others warn that doing so invites a presence that is not entirely of this world. The tree remains a symbol, a memory, and a bridge not just to the past, but to the mysteries that lie beyond our sight. The blackthorn is more than a tree, it is a watcher at the edge of worlds. Its thorns, blossoms, and moonlit whispers remind us that life is woven from danger and wonder alike. Tonight, we've met witches, moon fairies, and the haunting bargains hidden in its shadows. Yet these are only the first branches of a far darker legend. Across forgotten fields and lonely hills are the blackthorn's wait. Cursed trees have done more, hedges that hunt the living, crossroads where justice twists, and groves where fairies choose or claim their humans. In the episodes ahead, we'll step deeper into these stories of duels, hauntings, betrayals, and forbidden magic. So, if you dare, follow us past the hedge, for the blackthorn still watches, and its tales have only just begun.